Japanese street style is some of the cutest and trendiest clothing in the world. Introducing Cherry Goddess Women's Clothing and Accessories, the hottest original and cute clothing company. We offer tops, clothes, accessories, shoes, dresses and skirts, and comfortable homeware that we guarantee you will love. Cherry Goddess Women's Clothing, super cute Japanese style clothing.
Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today, finally, sorry this one's late, we're going to be talking about HEA. Now, you are getting this right after the newest episode came out, but I had to make sure I caught up. I got everything else done, so now I'm in a place that I think I'm gonna be right where I need to be. So yeah, that's what's going on. So there's no hot goss in this episode. We're just gonna jump right in to the reason we're here. So 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, season 8, episode 7. Humpty dumped me. I fucking love this title, even though we do not talk about Pred. I love this title. So, but anyway, let's get into it. So Gino and Jasmine. So Coco really doesn't like his stroller, because this is the second time we see this dog just leap out of his stroller and go for a run. But yeah, he's running all around, and Jasmine is like running after him, and she's like, Coco, stop it, come back. It's so cute. It's the most adorable thing. It's funny. But anyway, Jasmine also mentions that Coco is gay. The vet told her that Coco is gay. I don't know how do you know if a dog is gay or not? You know? I don't know. Anyway, and Jasmine tells Gino that it's just come back. The tests have come back for her mom, and it's confirmed that unfortunately her mom does have cancer. But they caught it early, so it seems to be a pretty good prognosis. And Gino actually mentions in this moment that, well, at least, they caught it early, the medicines are better. It's not like what was with my mom when she had cancer. So he says that his mom had cancer. She was diagnosed in 1977. Medicines were it wasn't like it is now. And he remember, I don't know how old he would have been. I mean, 1977, it's just shy of 40 years. So he would have been he would have been young. But he remembers going to the hospital and seeing her very sick. He said it was hard to watch, and she did ultimately pass away, unfortunately. He said they caught it late for his mom, so I think he said she was stage 3 or 4 of, I can't remember what cancer she had, but I don't even know if he mentioned it. But yeah, it was, I can't imagine. But they do show pics of his mom, and she was very pretty. But Jasmine is feeling depressed, not just stressed, depressed. And Gino's like, well, you're gonna be 37 soon. She's celebrating her birthday. And he's like, do you want to maybe go on a trip? Maybe you'll feel better if we go on a trip and, get your mind off things. And she says, well, you remember my friend Leandro? He just recently moved to Mexico, to Florida, to Miami. So they're going to take a trip to Miami. Gino apparently has met Leandro before, but all I can think of is we have another Leandro coming into the mix because the other Leandro, maybe he ruffled some feathers, but I don't think this Leandro is going to ruffle any feathers. Gino seems to like him. So we are on the way to Miami. We then land in Miami, and Jasmine is happy to be there. She says it feels like home, feels like Panama. She's, around Latino people. She's, she can speak Spanish. She's happy. And she's like, I don't think I ever see Latino people in Michigan. And he's like, well, I'll speak all the Spanish to you that you want. And Jasmine's like, yeah, I appreciate that, but your Spanish sucks. So she makes him say a word and she's rolling the R. Now, it's not easy for us peoples over here to roll our R's as easily as it is for Latino people, but she says she's rolling the R and he can't roll the R. So he's saying it weird. And she's like, what's wrong with your tongue? And she's like, show me your tongue. And she's like, it looks normal. And he's like, well, you gotta show me where to place the tongue. Gino. My. And then Jasmine's like, I'll show you where to put it. I'll show you. It's very adorable. Anyways, so then they're in the car and they're talking about this instance where she had semi-public sex with an ex. I don't know if it was her ex-husband or whoever else, but she's telling the story about how Leandro kind of like was her watcher while she was having sex with her ex to make sure she didn't get into any trouble. And she's telling the story and she is like, this was my fantasy. I fulfilled my fantasy. But don't worry, I have more fantasies. But apparently Gino does have a fantasy of having sex in a public place. And Jasmine's like, with me or you want me with someone else? Which is a weird question to ask. And he's like, well, maybe both. I maybe wouldn't mind seeing you with a woman, and then maybe I can join in. I can't. She can't either, because she's like, do you want me to cut off your tongue and feed it to you? Or I think she said his balls. I think, cut off your balls and let me feed it to you. Anyway, then we get to Leandro's place. Y'all, he's gorgeous. Now, I don't know. He I don't know if I'm his type. I'm unsure, but whatever. He is still hot. Like, whoa. But he seems like a very good friend to her. And, he shows her around the house. He has a nice house. He's renting the house, but he has a nice house. And, she's speaking a lot of Spanish. He's speaking a lot of Spanish, although he does seem to speak some English. And then he gives her some cupcakes and she makes a wish. And she basically just wishes that, her kids could be there. And she also wishes for her mom's health as well. But she does say, how could I get pregnant with mine and Gino's baby when I feel like I would be abandoning my kids? And I think that's like the biggest thing for her. But at the same time, if they want to have kids or if he wants to have kids, they are running out of time. I mean, you can't wait the 2 full years or however long it might be. I don't know. I don't know what you do in this case. I don't know. I don't envy her in this moment. Trying to figure out what is the best thing to do or what she should do or anything like that. But that's it for Gino and Jasmine. There wasn't a whole lot with them. But let's head on over to Nicole and Mahmoud. Now, this is anger inducing for me. I can't with her. Mostly. Not that he's perfect, but I just can't with her. Anyway, So Julian, Julian is this friend. He's still like running after Mahmoud, and it does look like Mahmoud's about to walk into the street and potentially get hit by a car. But the issue I had kind of with Julian is don't put your hands on him. It felt very smothering, and I mean, I feel like all these white people are very smothering. But yeah, he just wants to walk away. He just wants to be left alone. And Julian kind of just won't let him go, which again is another thing of let him go if he wants to go. This whole trope of you're not from here, you don't know the city, you're gonna get lost. It's like, you'd be amazed at how resilient people are when they need to get away from a situation. You'd be surprised. He just wants to be left alone. And he's just been told by this crazy. Okay, first of all, I know we actually haven't really talked about what happened, but here's what I'll say, just so I can set the scene for how I feel about all of this. Nicole walks into the fucking house with her tweedily dumb friends and just laces into him because he doesn't say exactly why he didn't go. If this man is actually choosing to say, I was tired, and not say the actual reason, that's him saying, what happens in our marriage is our business. You don't need to talk it all to everybody else. That does not necessarily mean he's making you look like a liar. That's the biggest thing. She can't be made to look like a liar. She has to be the one that's right. But for her to sit there and call him, what did she call him again? Fuck, what was it? It was completely out of nowhere. I can't remember what it was now, but I was just like, are you for real? And then, because he touches, now his reasons for touching the suitcase, which he says here, is questionable, but I'll get there. But, you know, he goes for the suitcase or whatever, and she's like, leave, just leave, get out. No, don't leave. Don't leave. Stay. It's like that. It's like that meme of Stewie where it says like, come back here and love me. But it's like you grow out of that. She is a 40-year-old woman. Don't say something and then backpedal and be like, I know I told you this, but I actually didn't mean it. It's confusing. And again, this is a person who's well aware that this is not my country. I am a minority in this country. And you want me out, that I'm gonna leave. Like, I don't know if necessarily he is thinking that in that way, but that is the way he's thinking. You told me to leave, so I'm gonna leave. I don't like her. I think she's a horrible person, honestly. Not to say he's a great person, because he isn't, and I'm not pretending like I don't know what happens later, but they're both to blame for the shitty shit that they're in. They're both to blame for it. And she wants to act like this holier than thou attitude and whatever. It's like, if you hate each other this much, then why the fuck are you guys together? Anyway. So, yeah, back to this now. So, yeah, he won't let him go. But he just keep saying, you don't know where to go. And I've kind of already said this. Then Julian does eventually let him walk down the street. He's like, don't go too far now. Like, he's a fucking kid. You know, when like you would do with your kids, like, I mean, I don't have kids, but I have a brother who's younger than me, much younger than me. So when I was a teenager, he was little. If I was like 16 or whatever, he would have been like 4 or 5, but he was little. And that's what I would do. Like, if I would take him out for walks, he was the kind of kid that would run, like, way ahead. He would just run, and we would, like, if we were going to the park or something, and he knows where to go, but he's, like, running. But I would always, I remember this is a core memory. I would literally always say to him, once he was maybe 4, 5, maybe 6 houses away, but I could still see him. And I would say to him, okay, stop. And he knew he would stop. He would turn around and he'd watch me get closer. And just as I'm like maybe like about half a house closer to him, he'd just start running again. But that's what, you know, you would say to your kid when you're just like, don't go too far. Make sure I can see you. You know, make sure you're not too far from me because you just never know. There's psychos everywhere. I'm able to get you. I'm able to get close to you. That's what it felt like with this guy when he's telling Mahmoud, don't go too far now. But Mahmoud, just take the fuck off and we'll get to it. So, and all I could think about when Mahmoud is off somewhere is, where's Julian? Did anyone find Julian? Anyway, we never see Julian again. Anyway, so we're with her for a second and she says, I wish you guys didn't see that. Really? Really, Nicole? You could have prevented all of that if you just act like a civil, semi-civil person when your friends were there meeting him. She's like, hopefully he comes back. Oh, sorry, one of her friends says, hopefully he comes back to his senses. It's not just him who needs to come back to his senses. It's her too. And if you were real friends to her, you would actually tell her the truth. You're fucked up too. And she says, like, I went to Egypt so many times. I can't even tell you how many times. I had to count stamps on my passport. So like when he went to go pick up the suitcase, it triggered her to say, like, why can't you try? This is all a way for her to get back at him. And it's like, again, if you love someone, you wouldn't put them through this shit. Anyway, she's like, maybe I shouldn't have said anything so we could have had like a good night. Yeah. But then she calls him, she calls him and she asks, what is your plan? Where are you gonna go? What hotel? Just come back. And eventually he just hangs up on her. And she's like, yeah, maybe he should go to a hotel. Which is interesting because I'm going to hold on to that for a little bit. Because it's interesting how she says, oh, maybe he should go to a hotel and wonders how the fuck he paid for it. And how dare he use her money to pay for the hotel. What did you expect? His credit card, a foreign credit card, doesn't work here in Canada, and I'm assuming it's not going to work in America, so I'm assuming it's a foreign credit card that he's using that is just not recognized in this country. So, what did you expect? And I've seen that before. What did you expect was going to happen? So, yeah, she's just feeling disrespected, but she's going to keep on feeling disrespected throughout because that is her word of the week. Then he gets in an Uber that production helped him get. And they're going to be driving him to the hotel. He feels that she is not the same person that she was in Egypt. Well, this is her home turf, so she feels a lot more comfortable here. He doesn't think love is enough, because what does love got to do with it? Just like Tina said, right? And that it's over now. But it's he's just going for all the song lyrics. But it's over now. Anyway. So it's the next day. He goes to gets some tea. He says, I don't care that she came back with her friends. That's not the issue for him. The issue for him is, I don't like how she acted around them. And I think, yeah, because she knew I have this fuel in my friends, so I can say whatever the fuck I want to say to him, and they're not going to say shit to me. He's right. she acts like a different person around her friends. And I think we all, to a certain extent, will act differently around certain people. Like how I act maybe with my friends might be slightly different how I act with my boyfriend. But, it's not to the Nicole sense. Like she just went guns a-blazing. Anyway, it's like it's somewhere, some way she's being fake. Honestly, I feel like she's being fake with everybody in her life. I don't think she is authentic in any sense. Anyway, um, he still wants to see if there is a chance that they can work this out. So he calls her and she says that she feels terrible. He feels sad. Um, but she's like, but you made me mad and you lied about why you didn't go see my friends. I mean, what the fuck does that matter? Why does your friends need to be owed a explanation for why the fuck he didn't go? Now, do I think it's right that he didn't go? No. But he doesn't owe them an explanation. If you want to speak the whole fucking shit to your friends about your relationship, by all means, but that does not mean he needs to join in. They're your friends, they're not his. So, and she's like, and he spent $300 for the hotel and he used her credit card. Again, I talked about this. I feel, she's like, in the this is it. This was, and I'm like, you're fucking bitch. You act like you do no wrong. You're a delusional bitch. But she says to him, in the last few days, you have caused nothing but trouble. And you know what else? In the last 4 years, you've done pretty much the same thing. No wonder this guy's like, okay, so this isn't gonna work. I can't talk to her. Because if she feels like I have been nothing but trouble in the entire duration of our relationship, then there's no point. And the nerve of this woman, I'll get to her in a minute because this is fucking ridiculous. If I said that to my boyfriend, are you kidding? Are you kidding? There's no room for improvement. I can't imagine anyone saying that to someone they're supposed to love. It's like, here's the knife and let me just twist it. Oh. So he's like, all right, well then, I want to come get my stuff. And she's like, give me a couple of hours. So, um, we're with her now, waiting for him to come. And she says, so like, yeah, I told him to leave, but then I told him to stay because where's he gonna go? I think he figured it out actually quite well, despite what you and your friends were saying. He seemed to figure it out. Yeah, he had some help getting there, but he figured it out. So, and she's like, he took my credit card and he spent $300 um with it, and that's disrespectful and whatever else that she's saying. And it was like, honestly, everything can't be fucking disrespectful, um but she says she wants this to work and maybe she can talk to him. Okay, you want to talk to him after you literally just told him you're the problem, it's you? Are you kidding? The entire time of the relationship. So he comes and the first thing that she says to him besides hi is, you wore those. And she's talking about the fact that he wore flip-flops. Again, who gives a shit? But then instead of just saying to him, can we talk? And maybe apologizing for some words that she said, she instead does this. She's like, you hungry? He says, no. Did you eat? He's like, yeah. He's like, where are you staying? He doesn't know. And she says, I can tell that he doesn't want to talk because he just, went straight to his suitcase and he has a bad attitude. And I'm just like, you're not even saying you want to talk to him. You're waiting for him to come to you. where you are capable of going to him and saying you want to talk. So he gives her the phone, the money, and a credit card, and she was gonna give him a different cell phone, but he said no. And he goes to put his shoes on, and she's like, "What are you doing? You told him. You told him to leave, and he made it very clear he was leaving to you earlier. What do you mean? What are you doing? You see him going for the suitcase. What do you mean? I can't deal with women who can't just fucking communicate, or men who can't just fucking communicate. Just fucking communicate. Communication goes a long way. God, I can't. Anyway, she's like, "Where are you going? You act like you've been here for like 20 years or something and you know where to go." Again, he's going to figure it out. And he says, "You told me to go." She's like, "Yeah, but then I told you to stay." Like, what the fuck? And um, she's like, he's like, "What did you do around your friends? Why did you do that? And she's like, "Well, you told me you wanted a divorce so much yesterday." And he says, and this isn't right either, you don't hurt someone with, you just, this is his way of trying to get out. And I don't agree with it either. But he says, "Yeah, and I still want that." Fuck, they're both fucked. But anyway, she's like, "Okay, then go. Let's go." And he does leave, and he tells the producers he's not going back. He can't take it. He will go back to Egypt no matter what. And he said he's never felt this alone in his life. And I feel bad for him. I do. But yeah. Anyway, that's it for Nicole and Mahmoud. Let's do Lauren and Alexi next, because I don't have much here to really talk about. So she goes to see the surgeon before surgery. Alexi is kind of trying to talk her out of doing it, and I understand why he's trying to talk her out of it, because he's going to be alone taking care of under three by himself. I think his dad's still there, but he's gonna be doing this by himself. He also has to work because he apparently can't take any time off of work, and she won't be able to do anything. I kind of understand why he's trying to talk her out of it. Anyway, she is gonna be doing like a crap load of different things in this one procedure. We're doing lipos, skin tightening, something to do with her muscles, and they're going to be putting the fat from one place into her boobs. And the surgeon does say like this is going to help with her bladder control as well. And she does say she is having issues with bladder control, which is understandable. You have 3 kids pressing on your bladder, so that's definitely understandable. And what Alexi didn't know, and what Lauren also didn't know, is that so there's going to be like this thing that's going to be from her, I think it's from her lipo suction, that is going to have to be drained. Like, it's going to be leaking out this fluid, and it's going to have to be drained every 4 to 6 hours. And Alexi's going to have to do it. He's like, "I didn't know that." That's great. Yeah. Anyway, with all of this said and done, Lauren is determined to do this, and she wants him to support her through it. And that's all I have from this. I don't have anything else to say. It's not that I don't care about, I love them. It's just the storyline I don't really care about. They're fine. Laura and Leslie are fine in their relationship. I don't want them on this season, because there's nothing really here. So anyway, that's it for Lauren and Alexi. We're going to take a break here, and when we come back, we will jump in with the second half of the episode. And I am back. So let's jump in with Kobe and Emily. So we're still here at the bar. Okay, his friends can fuck off. And that's my thoughts and feelings on the previous episodes. Anyway, she says the reason that oh, sorry, or I'm going ahead here. The one thing I want to say here is, I think it was Valerie, was like, Kobe, why is she mad? Why is she angry? What the fuck? And Kobe says, we don't have to get to this. She is my wife. We have 2 kids already. What the fuck is all of this? Basically, is what he's trying to say. We go to her and she says, like, she hates when people interrupt her while she's talking. You know, she's like, I don't care where you're from, and like, just don't interrupt me. And again, I think it's that American view on things, and obviously they think you should shut up and listen, and they do say as much in a little bit. But it's, I understand that because she's American, she's not going to be able to conform in the way that they want her to, nor does it seem like Kobe wants her to. Their opinions don't matter, personally. Anyway, he's going to get Emily, and he goes to her and says, you know, please come back. Let's just talk this out. And he's like, you know, they have their opinions. Says Africa, you know, they're just looking out for my best interests and whatever. And she doesn't want to go back over there. And honestly, why should you? She says, listen, what I want to do is get a refill, and then I'll think about going back. He's kind of just frustrated at both sides at this point. He's stuck in the middle. And that's unfortunate, but at the same time, you should be. This is your friends. This is your wife. At the end of the day, I'm a firm believer of, like, your friends are important, but I'm a firm believer in these might be your friends, but I am your wife. If I want you, like, if you need to take a side, you should be taking your wife's side, not your friends. That's my belief. So she says it's 5 against 1. And he says, well, I'm right there. And she's like, are you though? She says what everyone else has been thinking. You're not saying anything. You're not doing anything in the moment to rectify the situation. And she's like, I think I make you plenty happy, right? Right? Do I make you happy? I better make you fucking happy. Why aren't you fucking happy? But yes, he says she does. And when they do go back, Valerie says, listen, this is Cameroon. We talk and the women shut up and listen. And I said, listen, I'm very much in love with an African man, not a Cameroonian man, but I am with a South African man. And a lot of the same trope is there too, of the patriarchal attitude. My man isn't like that. He doesn't expect me to shut up and listen while he's talking, and then I have to bow down to him. Are you kidding? If I bowed down to him, he would be bored. Like, I spiced shit up. And clearly that's what Kobe wants as well, because she spiced shit up and went, you know. Anyway, she says, well, I'm American. I'm not Cameroonian. And he says, well, you should learn. It's not right. Fuck these guys. So all his friends say, you know, Valerie says, all his friends will say you're bossy. Okay? That's their problem, not hers. And he's like, his friends say you should, you know, one of his friends say, you should just blend cultures instead of just one culture dominating the other. I like that guy. That guy's smart. Valerie says he's just trying to, you know, cover for his wife, because God forbid Kobe says anything to support Emily. He's like, he's just trying to cover for his wife. And his friends is like, she might be your wife, but, you know, it's strange I don't know what the future looks like for you guys. And I'm thinking, they're fucking parents to 2 kids. The ship gone sailed. Are you kidding? And, are you going to maintain this? Like, seriously? And I'm thinking, again, they've been married, they have 2 kids. And she says, this is why I don't want them at the wedding. They clearly don't care about whether or not we stay together. So, Kobe says, listen, sorry to say it, but if you can't change the way you think about her, then I don't think you guys should be coming to the wedding. And they get up, and all you hear from his friends like, Kobe, 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 Kobe. And he leaves with Emily. And he does hope that this can be fixed, but, they're kind of proven already that it won't be. But anyways, that's it for Kobe and Emily. So Patrick and Thais are next. So we're kind of just leaving off with his dad coming in and saying, well, I brought you some paint so you can paint the apartment. It needs to be painted. Patrick didn't want to ask Thais if he could have his dad there. He figured he could just ask for an apology after the fact. But anyways, his dad says hi to Elise, calling her a beauty. And she's looking at him very intently. It's very sweet. His dad was actually, he says he was happy that Patrick started dating Thais because it basically meant that he was coming to Brazil more, and that way he was able to spend time with his son more. Thais is like, listen, we didn't know you were coming, so, you may not have known. Patrick did. But his dad says, you know what, since you're here, I need you to do a few things, while you're here. Tomorrow, can you wash the walls, and prep for painting the walls? And Patrick is like, listen, I have one leg. I'm working with one leg. And he also is like, he's not here to help, he's here to make nice with her dad, you know? But in this moment, Thais does mention that, he tends to raise the rent about $100 US all of the time. And then on top of that, he then expects Patrick to do the things that a landlord is supposed to technically be doing. And, I definitely understand what she's saying, but from his perspective, he's like, well, I don't mind doing these things. I want to do these things. But she thinks that he is definitely taking advantage of Patrick and getting him to do things for free when he could just hire somebody. But Patrick insists like he doesn't actually have a lot of money. I don't know. But at this point now, his dad has left. Elise's pretty much had it. She's tired. And Patrick makes this stupid comment here. And he's like, never seen her like this before. You haven't traveled with her before. Her whole, routine is thrown off at the moment. That's kind of basically it. There wasn't a whole lot here to really talk about with them. It's going to be real interesting with everybody once they've all entered the picture. But, yeah, that's basically it for Patrick and Thais. Let's end it off on a banger with Ashley and Manuel. So we are going to be seeing Manuel's uncle today. She's anxious. He looks, we kind of see him kind of like looking around as they're driving. And he's like, which? Witched? And Ashley looks over and she's like, it's Wicked. He's looking at a billboard of Wicked. And he's like, she explains to him it's a show. And he's like, a show about witches? Do they not have Wizard of Oz? Anyway, one of them is a good witch. But anyways, um, so she says, like, he has an old school way of thinking when it comes to witches. And she tells him, it's 2023. Witches are, flying around on broomsticks. And he says, it's 2023. We drive cars now. Yeah, so good. It's going to get a lot better. But he wants her to not talk about her being a witch. And she's like, men don't control me. If you put parameters on me, I'm going to break them. He is kind of regretting bringing her now. But we arrive at the restaurant. His uncle's mustache is incredible. Manuel, we are in Newark, not New York, because he asked him, like, how do you like New York? And his uncle's like, Newark. It's Newark, New Jersey. But anyways, Leopoldo, I believe is how you say his name. It's his uncle's name. He says he's been in the States for about 30 years now. Ashley says, I'm nervous, you know, about meeting the uncle, but his uncle says a couple becomes one. You are basically his rib. Great. And when he said you're his rib, I'm like, Jesus, here we go. And he says, this is how it is in the Bible. And Ashley's like, yeah. She says that she's surprised that he is kind of just spewing out Bible verses. And I'm like, you are? Because apparently Manuel's told her that he's very religious. So why are you so, like, surprised? But she says, for her, the Bible is kind of more like a learning tool, not, words to live by. So anyways, his uncle asks her, are you religious? She says, well, I'm spiritual. I believe in energy, astrology, tarot. And his uncle's like, tarot? What the fuck is tarot? Cards? He's like, oh no, I don't believe in that. I believe in the Virgin and Jesus. For those who don't know, Mary. And Ashley is like, yeah, I believe in God. When, where, how, what? But anyway, so she believes in God. And como se dice, whatever the hell it was, como se dice. This is, oh man, it's great. But his uncle says, I don't get her job. Me neither. I don't get it either. And Manuel says, we all have our own beliefs. And he's like, yeah, I would just say, trust in God. She's gonna trust in her tarot and all of that. But anyways, now, we're going out. It's nighttime now. We're back in New York, I believe. And just a little bit of gel makes Manuel feel so much better. But we're meeting her friend, Erin, and she is a colleague of hers in this world, but she works a little differently. She works with the Galactics. Yeah, she deals with like a different language to connect with the galactic beings, angelic beings, aliens. So, yeah, Manuel thinks, I think he said interesting. Anyways, Aaron says, so I heard from a little birdie, aka alien, that there have been UFO sightings in Ecuador. And Manuel says, yeah, I've heard that. But he doesn't believe in any of it, you know? I mean, I don't know what I believe in personally, but he doesn't believe any of it. But Aaron says, I feel energy, attractions or whatever the hell with both of you. You want to do this thing? And Ashley's like, you know, I want to do this thing. We're going to start connecting with the galactics. So how she basically, she explains how she does her stuff is that she uses light language and she pulls it from the angels and then it shifts to energy in the body to relieve any traumas. He says, let me drink. Let me take a drink because I'm gonna need it. She says, now close your eyes. Bring your awareness into your heart center. Now, Aaron says the light language, and I can't even begin to mimic. It sounds a little bit like something you hear in Lord of the Rings. And she uses like, I just can't begin. It sounds like it's something you'd hear literally. I'm pretty sure I've heard the elves speak this particular language. That's what it sounds like. And Ashley and her in the moment is like, do you feel anything in your body when she was doing it? No. And he's like, no, I felt nothing. And she's still going with the light language. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And Aaron says, let me tell you this. You're attracted on a soul level, but there's a lot of contractual things going on. What does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? Anyway, the biggest red flag, she says, is communication. Ma'am, Ashley could have told you that. You didn't need the aliens and the angelic beings and the galactic beings to tell you this. I'm just saying. Ashley, a human, told you this. So she's like, you need to establish trust. Again, could have told you that. And she says, release what is old. It's dragging you down. And, be open to connection. But Ashley, you can help him with that. And Manuel says, only me, only I need to make changes. What about you? And he kind of just lists off all the things of the trust issues from, sorry about that, guys. We had a centipede situation. So I had to stop abruptly to deal with the centipede that ran away anyways. But anyway, so yeah, he says, I'm always honest. I don't debate that. He says, I'm always transparent with you. That's a lie. And I trust her 100%. And I don't know if either of them trusted the other, honestly. But she doesn't do the same, he says. All of a sudden, she's like, I am going to scream in like this demon voice. It was like, whoa. It was the weirdest thing. Manuel says, it's not my fault, it's her fault. And that's what she said that caused her to demon scream. And she's like, you tell me what to do. You tell me that I can't do things. He tells her that all he wants, because she keeps asking, what do you want? And he tells her, trust me. And she still doesn't stop. But she says in English, because he gets up, he leaves, she leaves at one point, but in English, she says, you create the narrative that I won't let you go anywhere. Why do you do that to me? Then she gets up and she calls him an asshole while she leaves. It's funny that she said this in English because I'm thinking, if it was incorrect, wouldn't you just told him in Spanish? The next time on, that crocodile is way too close to Jasmine and Juno, and Jasmine's just being over there like, my little bonito. That little bonito's gonna eat you. But she says she has to tell him something, and she's a little nervous to tell him. So we're seeing Carlos for the first time, and he says that Patrick kidnapped Thais. And there we hear that there is apparently a phone that's vibrating or something, and it's not Rob's and it's not hers. And her mom's like, it's the hoe phone. Every guy that's cheating has a hoe phone. I have theories about that. I won't wait till the episode, but Ashley says, sorry for blowing up your bar. And we see Nicole is looking for Mahmoud because. But that is it for this episode of HEA. Again, I'm sorry that it's late, but not too bad. Not too bad. But for me, not too bad. But yeah, that's it for this week. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea ×2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea ×2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea ×2 pod. We also have our email, which is at realitytea2@hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there, and you can find me there at www.realitytea2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube, and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.